Hiya, was new with you and the ManKinder crew. Happy Monday. It's our February 20th, 2023 Monday Monday support group. And it's just we're just doing a quick little informational update thing, and I'm delighted to have Michael on camera and Reet providing a lovely, milky, ethereal image from her camera while she travels. So we might have a word or two from Orit. So I'm going to give you guys a little update. So for the last several years in this COVID chaos, and actually since before then, because 2017 was when I started on the path of, what's going on? We have been seeking solutioneers and meeting with and keeping track of as many solutioneers as possible. And whenever possible, building mutually beneficent collaborations. So I've worked with a couple of ranch/farm locations, still in search of the right ones to collaborate with. And in our current era, as we're noting that the supply chain has been under attack and food suppliers have been under attack and air and water have been under attack, lots and lots of toxicity and attack in our environment, it's ever more important for us to pull together with unified strategies, as we call it here at ManKinder, strategies to strengthen mankind. Very community-oriented, start local, but unify strategies beyond your local in what they call it, the Freedom Cells cadres, and pull mankind together, those of us that would like our species and others to thrive, even beyond just survive. So we generally have our self to protect and empower, and then our entity, our organization, or company, or whatever you want to call that. So the first major protective strategy that we came across is the unincorporated association concept. So that can be a 508c1a, a church ministry, variety of different structures for associations and other organizations. So that protects your business entity, your stuff you do with others in interaction with others. Then there's the protecting yourself. And what a lot of folks have promoted is the idea of becoming a national rather than a citizen. Some seem to erroneously call it a state national, but others will call it a U.S. national. And there's a lot of dispute and disagreement as far as all these structures. Some people say you shouldn't even file a 508, you should just be unfiled and not pay taxes and be off the books altogether. But for other folks, that's harder to do. Then there's financial structures that, for instance, the Treasury Direct Account concept. And we were researching that and probably still need to go a lot further on that. That covers concepts like the 1099 and vouchers and coupons and all kinds of stuff. Oh my, it's over my head. I defer to experts. Then there's equity. And that's such a generic sounding term, but equity is a lawful term. So it's what I'd like to call truth law. There's legal, and then there's lawful, and then there's equity. And equity is a fascinating topic that I have just recently increased my knowledge of. I've been hearing about it for a long time, but wasn't sure exactly what it was all about. And it seems to also deal with these sorts of financial, we'll call it alternative financing concepts. There's a guy who presents equity solutions and is beginning a teaching, a class structure that's meeting on Thursdays at 5 p.m. So it's a conflict with our schedule. And it's 12 or 13 weeks long, I think, and it's $5,500. So although I respect the man's wisdom, that's definitely not in my budget. So we've also had some meetings with a venture which seems to have integrated solutions. They seem to have the whole package. They've got the national status to protect you. They've got the 508c1a unincorporated association structure to protect your entity. They have alternative financing solutions. And I've been very enthused about collaborating with them. I'm not sure where it's going right now because there's kind of a high barrier to entry. Kind of a, you need to figure it out yourself. Watch hundreds of hours of videos to find the right information. And so I've been struggling with all this stuff because my goal is to be the marketing guy that brings the solution from the provider to the strong souls, I call them. Those strong souls that are apropos to learn from and benefit from these sorts of solutions. Not just everybody. We don't want this just out there willy-nilly, and we certainly don't want to invite any more sabotage. So we just want to work with the great souls, the great people. And part of my goal is to simplify the content so that more people can benefit from it. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And customer service, to me, I think is really important, that the potential customer be welcomed warmly with an optimistic approach. You know, they say that customer service has declined. Some folks have been blaming the millennials for not understanding how to give good customer service, but I just find there's a lot of competitive energy more than collaborative energy, just in general in our world. More adversarial relationships rather than collaborative. And certainly I can identify with having been attacked and sabotaged, but if we presume that the next person we talk to is going to be just as bad as the last one, then we're not welcoming in the good stuff. And we can generally do manifest the circumstances in our life. I take to blame the responsibility for the mistakes that I've made. I've certainly allowed a lot of problem people in my life. So I keep raising the bar to work with better and better people. Like this other Michael that's on the screen here with me here. And occasionally there's disappointments, and I don't want to presume anything when I'm disappointed, because it's me. It's I need to, but I tend to empathize with and presume the best of others. There was one buddy of mine that knew of my financial challenge this past week, and he promised support. timing wasn't quite right, so I hope that that support is still en route, but that buddy hasn't checked in with me since I had my deadline, and I'm kind of sad about that. Those that have been keeping in touch with me and checking in with me, you know, we've been moving forward and juggling a lot of progress. So there's some great stuff coming up and going on. I look at the customer service issue here like this. In my humble opinion, we are at war. There is a war against mankind. I can't look at the circumstances and derive any other conclusion but that. So if someone has an integrated solution, as I believe that this great venture does, they've got integrated solutions. Like I say, they got the 508c1a, they got the national status thing going on, they got the financial structure going on, they've got the beginnings of community and networks of support. I look at that as potentially the ultimate defense shield that mankind really needs. Now, here's the thing. If they've got that ultimate defense shield and they tell you, well, we could show you how to do it. We could show you how to build this defense shield, but we're not gonna make it easy for you. You got to jump through hoops and figure out how to do it yourself with the similar information that we've been building up for the last many years. Figure it out for yourself. We've got the information out there. We're not going to make it easy for you. Well, to me, that's not being of service to mankind. It's not addressing the seriousness of the circumstances that we're in, this war that we're in my humble opinion. So I was thinking about this. For some reason, this was coming to me. I'm not much of a Bible scholar, but 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. I would translate that as prideful. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now, I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. So I will tend to go back on what would love do? Not just what would Jesus do, but what would love do? Are we treating each other lovingly? Are we treating each other with kindness? took me 4 months to figure out that the name of my little association here would be ManKinder, because I believe that if we're going to optimize our circumstances, kindness is key. How can we be kinder to each other? How can we save our world through kindness? So I've been looking for the kind people as well as the smart people, the solutioneers that wield their skills and their resources with kindness and grace. So I know it's not easy. It's perhaps an unreasonably high standard that I'm trying to find, but sometimes it works out. I've had a great several days. 4 friends came together, 2 old friends, 2 newer friends came together, saved my financial butt, and now I am on a roll of raising the bar to make these little webcasts, are currently Mondays and Thursdays, better looking, better promoted, more engaging, reach out to more people, solve more people's challenges, be more organized and professional in every way possible. And we're shooting for a couple of fun new things, and this is why I wanted to do this webcast today. 2 new things, one being adding a 3rd day. We're looking at adding a Friday, and if we do an additional webcast day, I would like it to be based on an in-person event. And it's interesting because this goes back to Fridays, goes back to Grateful Fridays, which was an organization that I was a member of. We did Spirituality and Nightclub in Hollywood. We would start at 9 p.m. First, we'd have a speaker, and then a person that would do a movement-oriented thing like sacred dance, and then it was basically nightclub. It was a little rough and ragged. I had some critiques of the way that it was run, so I left after 3 or 4 months. But it was a great vision, and so that Friday evening thing may come around again, and maybe we can do it better. Maybe we can do it here in San Diego. So we're looking for a venue where we can do a Friday evening thing. I have a music collaborator that I'm beginning to collaborate with now. And that music collaborator will be a co-host of the Friday evening thing. And also, that music collaborator has a birthday right around mine. Mine is March 15th, and this mystery music collaborator's birthday is March 12th. As I mentioned yesterday when we met in person here in San Diego, we went to the beach, spent some time together, and then the rain started coming down. We went to a cafe, had coffee. My perhaps most notable music collaborator, Billy Corrigan of the Smashing Pumpkins, he's a March 17th. So I have a long history of Pisceans being music collaborators. So if we can throw mid-March, I know it's coming up soon, about 3 weeks from now, if we can throw an event, an in-person event here in the San Diego area, that would be super great also. We can celebrate our birthdays, celebrate the spring equinox, which I think is the beginning of some calendar or another, a Justinian calendar perhaps, and start some new energies. So we shall see what we can do. All right, that's my update and optimistic planning pitch, and I will hand over the floor to whoever has a thought, a perspective on any of the above. Who's up for it?
I missed most of it. I have a little bit of a crisis here.
Ooh, what's going on?
Well, the rear wheel, one of the rear wheels of my car just came off as I was driving. When it rains, it pours.
Oh my Lord. Well, thank God you're okay. You didn't get in an accident?
No, I'm okay. I was able to pull into a shopping center and park. I'm waiting for my daughter to pick me up. I have an Airbnb guest arriving in about 32 minutes. I need to go be home.
God.
Life.
The wheel came completely off and rolled away?
No, not completely off. It kind of angled out and started smoking on the rubber was rubbing on something and smoke started to come off and the good smell of burned rubber.
That didn't work out very well for a particular train in Ohio recently, similar circumstances. So glad you're
thankfully I don't
have
any toxins. I don't have any toxins in my car other than the fuel. So, so I'm going to take care of it. My daughter is picking me up in a few minutes and I will listen to this later on as I'm trying to raise money to take care of my car, to take care of other things that broke the last week. A lot is happening.
We'll have to help you with a fundraiser. Oh my God. Well, gosh, I'm glad it wasn't anything that we distracted you into a problem.
Not at all. Not at all.
Boy. Wow.
I didn't hit anything.
Well handled.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'll have to sit with Spirit and see what is she trying to tell me with all these breaking things right and left.
Okay. Love and blessings. Go do what you got to do.
Thank you. Love. We'll talk soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now it looks like it's just you and me.
Just the Michaels.
Yeah. I mean, what you said about the whole kind thing, I mean, the more I've been, or how do I say this? I used to think that peace, love, and happiness was just like a cheesy thing to say. Right? Like in my early 20s, there was this person that, I mean, she was all about peace, love, and happiness. And I just did not get it at the time. Right? Like I was always like, how can somebody just always just be love and love everything that's happening and love? But the more I help people, the more I participate in things, the more I realize that really that is all life is about. Not just about. Love is what created life. Love is what created the universe. Love is what holds everything together. And when I help people heal now, I just love them more than they love themselves so that they choose to love themselves more. And it really is that simple. When you hold more love for somebody than they hold for themselves, that example is usually enough for them to love themselves more.
That's a great observation. Yeah. On point. Absolutely. So how can we help others to catch on to that?
Well, by just continuing to be the example. And I mean, it's pretty difficult. I mean, I have a bunch of instant healing experiences with people. I mean, I have my own personal experience, but I've had a lot of experiences with people. But when it's just outside of our perception, it's even hard for people to grasp that it could be that easy. Like, for some reason, we've been convinced that life needs to be difficult. Right? Like that we have to work hard for everything that we get. And that's really not the truth. You know, if we could just be present, we would start to realize that things just happen. And it's almost like growing up, right? Your parents are like, well, you have to have a college education. You have to get a degree. You have to get a job, right? You have to work 9 to 5, whatever that is, right? But that's not necessarily the truth. The truth is, the more present you are being, the more things that will start to present themselves for you.
True that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember a particular song that kind of speaks to that. I might pull it out of my hat if you
Yeah.
have more to say while I try to think of it.
I'm trying to think of what else to say. I mean, for me, all the other stuff you're talking about, like the war and stuff like that, yeah, we live in a crazy time right now. I try not to focus as much on that as I do on all the things that are going right. Because for me, I'm highly empathic. If I start to participate in the negative stuff, I can become less effective as a person. Like if I watch the news, it's pretty depressing for me. Like I'm not even sure what the whole thing in Ohio was.
Oh, lucky you. That's my approach to the Super Bowl. I won on that one. I generally try to see how long I can go without even knowing the names of the team playing. I still don't know. So, yeah.
Well, I can tell you who played in the Super Bowl, and you can tell me what happened in Ohio.
Let's not.
Okay.
Yeah, the news is designed to lower your energy and generate fear and consternation and conflict.
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody post something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that it had a picture of what they say witchcraft is, and it was, you know, a bunch of symbols and stuff, and then it said what witchcraft really is, and it had a news anchor, you know. But really, it's just a form of control.
Yep. Well, anyway, that's all the news from me. We might keep this one short. You have any stuff you want to share, talk about?
No, I mean, I think that's good.
You know any great people out here in the San Diego area?
I have a friend. My first roommate lives in San Diego.
Well, introduce us if you think it's apropos.
Yeah, I would love to do more in-person stuff. I think that the energy that's created in person is a lot greater than the energy that can be created. I mean, not that you can't create it over the internet, but I think in person it's a lot easier to connect with people.
Well, that's why they came up with that 6-foot distancing thing, is
Yeah.
to intentionally keep us apart. And
Yeah.
I need a little bit of a codified explanation of the benefits of physical proximity
Yeah.
Because this has been going on for long enough that people have started to forget why we should be getting together in person. Like,
Yeah.
hello, was that not obvious?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm having to explain and pitch this now?
Yeah.
But anyway, more documentation and systematization coming. So hang in there, folks, and we will keep you informed. Let us know if you know a good venue in the San Diego area to start hosting in-person Friday evenings. It could be small, could be whatever. It could be music-oriented or just a living room, whatever feels good. And we may kick it off with a birthday party in the middle of March. What's your birthday, Michael? I haven't taken a note of that.
June 12th.
6/12. All right. Keep me
6/12.
keep me in the loop, and let's celebrate it however we can.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Onward and upward.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Love and blessings. Thanks for being here.